Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Raw Uncovered Truth of the Awakened Soul with me, Nicole. So, I haven't been on doing these recordings in a very long time. Usually I'll just do collaborations and put them on here and be doing little short ones on Instagram and TikTok. I don't think I've put any of them up on the YouTube channel. Kind of just in this kind of integration collaboration phase and even with my own stuff it's kind of in a transition phase of where to put it, what to do with it. It's just, well, the art of awakening, right? I mean, things are forever shifting. You're guided to do a million things, but in different scenarios or whatever the case may be. Anyway, I am back and I am here to talk about, the awakening process and how I'm seeing a lot of things that it's not even seeing, I'm feeling, well, I am seeing it, hearing it, feeling it, whatever, that a lot of people are getting awakening confused, right? So now there's your spiritual awakening, which is, going back to your soul self, right? Returning to your soul self, clearing out everything that you've picked up in the 3D, dealing with ancestral karma, dealing with all the karmic lessons, the list goes on, right? Some of us were just here to actually remember who we were, and then we picked up all this stuff on the way, on the way having that happen anyway, right? Being able to do that. Um, then you have, on the other hand, the awakening of, being in the Earth Project, right? All the programming, all the distortion, the chaos, the chemicals, the fact that we're do little pawns in the Earth Project. The fact that we've been programmed for eons upon eons, right? Well, just I mean the massive distortion and chaos that we in the 3D physically live in, right? Okay. So when you wake up to that, sometimes that does lead you into the fact that okay, now you're breaking away from the programming, the limiting beliefs, the patterns, the things that you were programmed to believe. I think I kind of said that already, but whatever. That kind of wraps into okay, because then you're starting to let go, right? And then you realize, oh, the things that you believed in weren't necessarily true, and then patterns are shedding, and then all this stuff is just shedding, and you eventually listen, awakening is layers, right? I mean, even as awakened as I am, there's still probably most definitely more layers to go, because as a light being in a human body, you are always evolving and you are never perfect, okay? So even you could even contradict yourself, because I'm sure I've contradicted myself on videos that I posted a year ago when all of my, well, over a year ago, when all of my galactic stuff started coming in. I was only shown what I was able to handle at the time, what I was able to absorb at the time. I was missing half of the pieces that I now have, right? So it is kind of contradicting what I've said. Not that I've said so much, and it's just more of a stretched out scenario. I know more information than I did now. Well, I knew it back then, but I just wasn't able to hold it, right? Okay. So on this journey back to self, there are a handful of, obviously light workers, star seeds, people that are just meant to live out in the Earth Project, but awake. Okay. They don't really, that is their purpose, is to just be awake and be in the Earth Project and spread the love that way into the grid and help shift humanity, right? Then there are others of us that have been awake for a very long time. And I'm not saying awake to the Earth Project itself, but awake to our gifts very early on in life. I am one of them, right? I don't even know how young I was but I just knew, right? I knew lots of stuff all the time, could sense things, could know what's going on, lived in the childhood trauma of the chronic chaos and all that good stuff, right? It was, I mean, it was legit my childhood, right? So that came into the teenage life, and I started, I obviously still had the childhood trauma, but all the gifts were still coming in. All of the gifts through my 20s were coming in. All of my gifts through my 30s were coming in. All of my gifts through my 40s were coming in. And then all of a sudden it kind of came to a little halt, because that's when I started to realize, oh my God, I had so much 3D density, right? Stuck in me, right? Which was the childhood trauma, just trauma in general, right? Of what you experience, the patterns that you're in because of all your issues, right? The abandonment issues, the wounding, the struggling, the lack, the separation, the you name it, you have to, like shed that, right? So you start shedding that, and then you become aware, even though like you knew that you were not from here, that we're literally in the Earth Project. We're being poisoned, we're being controlled, manipulated, blah, 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 blah. And then you have that aspect. Some people wake up to that aspect first, and then it kind of ties into, like the awakening of your soul self, your real self, your true self, right? Your galactic heritage. Many people stop on the side, right? They get so far and they're like, okay, I'm awake, I understand, but now it's, I have to return and live in the matrix and just, what am I supposed to do with my life? Okay. They don't take the deep dive in and realize that, yes, although we've been programmed and all this stuff, the programming has got to be let go. It has to be released out of the body, out of the physical body, out of the physical mind, out of the like, just it has to be released. You're not realizing that there's so many of you that like are awakening on one side, but not like, intertwining it. Okay. It intertwines. All right. Even if you didn't wake up with gifts as a child, or in your teens or in your 20s or 30s and 40s, you still have to do the work. You still have to get rid of all the stuff that you hold inside of you on a 3D based level in order to just be clear, a clear vessel. Again, some of you are just meant to wake up and live in the 3D and, have this glorious life in the 3D, okay? And you're just shifting humanity that way. There are a handful of us that will have that glory, but have to go through hell and back because we forgot to wake up. Literally, we forgot to wake up. All we had to do was wake up and we just got lost in the process or got gaslit ourselves, got gaslighted in the process, just, didn't, hid hid the gifts, hid this, hid that because we were so scared to be seen, right? So we're paying the price for that. Although we really don't have to pay the price and we could kind of let go of that as well. It's just a whole other process over here, right? But just mind you, there are two separate awakenings, all right? And layers upon layers on both sides, okay? Which they do intertwine, if need be. Like if you go that route, they do intertwine. But there are just two different ones, and I kind of just wanted to really specify that. And for some reason, this needed to go on YouTube and be a YouTube recording versus, throwing it up on Insta or TikTok, which I'm pretty sure they're going to have me do anyway. But I was just called to do this video over there. Okay, so again, two different versions, right? It's you going back to your soul self, right? Is the first one, and you waking up to the Earth Project is the second. And they are intertwined, yes, but some people just stop at the Earth Project. They're aware of the chemicals, they're aware of, like all the distortion and chaos and the programming and the controlling and yada, yada, yada. But then it just stops there and they don't really, like again, remove it from their system. So I just wanted to bring that to light. None of which are bad, right? No side is bad. It's just really getting back to your soul self and kind of clearing all that, trauma-based programming out, because it really does help removing the density. The more density that's removed, the more density that's clear, the more clear, light that we send down into Mother Earth, the grid herself, and you can see it on the Schumann resonance. I'm a huge, fan of the Schumann resonance. We are legit shifting, right? The Earth is shifting. The Earth project is shifting. The frequencies are like crazy right now. It's been calm, fairly calm the past 2 days, maybe. As I'm recording this, I think it's June 10th. It is. It's June 10th, and I got the date right. But listen, you guys could be like not even realizing what day it is, not even realizing what's going on anymore. Lots of floating happening, lots of headaches, lots of head pressure. Again, like, when energy's coming in, if you don't have room for it, it will hang around you until it has, the space to come in and really integrate and you fully embody that. All the light is doing is bringing more of your light codes in, your memory, your knowledge, the wisdom that you already hold, the power that you have within you. It's just waking it up. It's just literally the key to unlock everything. But in order to do that, all the distortion and the chaos have to go. All of the triggers have to go. All of the density has to go. Again, it's not an easy process. It can be. It can very much be. If you always, I'm always a firm believer is listen, reach out. There's, collectives that, oh, wake up first. It's like all the trickle down effect, right? There are people that wake up first in order to help us, it's like shifting into the new earth, right? The new earth codes, the new earth frequency, the new earth leaders, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But that's what we're here for. We're here to help you and guide you through what you are awakening into or realizing what you're awakening into. Really, really not sure how to word that. But again, there's probably, a handful of us that woke up as kids, and realized things like, I mean, I at school was like, no, that's all right. I don't know why I have to read out loud because why can't she hear me? Like literally, like why can't she hear me? That was, I think, like one of my biggest things, and that was in second grade. Will never forget that. I was like, I don't understand why you want me to read out loud. Like, I can't you hear me? Like, I'm not understanding. The other one was our solar system, believe it or not. Like looking at it, and that was in third grade, and I was just like, no, that's not right. And arguing with the teacher who was like, very old. She was an older cat lady in the 80s. So, I mean, that kind of like just pictures everything right there. She had like the thigh highs, knee stockings, whatever. Like that kind of old cat lady. And she would just like she had no patience for me whatsoever. And I was just like, well, it's wrong. I don't understand what you want me to say. Like it's just right. You're missing like a lot of stuff. It's and then I would get sent to the corner and then eventually down to, like some other class just sitting there because I was rude and I was interrupting. But I mean, what the hell? I was just always telling the truth anyway, or I thought I was telling the truth, like I was, well aware that I was speaking my mind. So I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that have similar situations, have similar stories. I would love to hear those actually. If you want to like put them in the comments, that's great. If you want to reach out to me on the side, that's where I get the most action, is when the reach outs on the side. So keep them coming, guys. I am here to help. And just happy awakening. And don't forget that, once you awaken to the Earth Project, there is still lots to release on the inner, self of you and really releasing all of the things that you are now aware of. Yeah. Okay. Well, peace out, guys. Until next time.